Alright, so quick update on Bitcoin. Really not a lot has changed since my previous video. We really need to hold this 0.5 level on the fib retracement as well as the bottom of this EMA spread. And as far as this box goes, this could still very well be valid. As we saw with smooth love potion, we had to move below the box before we started to move back through it. Sometimes we do have fake outs like this to the downside to shake out the weak hands before we start heading upwards. But the longer that we stay down here, in my opinion, the more likely we are to move back down to this green line at around $40,000. If you look in the past, you can actually see that we did have a fake out above the 200 daily EMA, but the big difference in my opinion from this time to this time is that here the spread was extremely wide and red, but here the spread is green. We have managed to stay above it for a much longer period of time than back here, and it is offering us support this time instead of resistance. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Another interesting thing here is if we turn on the Ichimoku cloud, you can actually see it's starting to print a green cloud. As of right now, it's very, very small. So depending on what Bitcoin does here, this could instantly flip back red. But it is worth mentioning that every time we have seen a flip in the cloud, from red to green, we have seen quite the substantial move upwards. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off so we can see this a little bit better. If we go back here, see the same thing. Now this was the pandemic. A lot of people argue that this move to the downside was because of it. Some say it was because Bitcoin was actually retesting previous all-time highs. I think it was sort of a little bit of both, in my opinion. If the pandemic didn't happen, we probably would have stopped out much higher instead of all the way down here. So it's definitely something to take in consideration this, but I wouldn't put too much weight on it considering we did see a worldwide pandemic during this time frame. But then if we go all the way back here, you can see the same thing again, right? Green cloud, move to the upside. Come back even farther again. Kind of zoom in here, same thing, right? Green cloud, move to the upside. So we go back to current prices and turn back on the EMA ribbon. There's also something pretty interesting I want to note here, and it's that the bottom of this EMA ribbon here on the daily is around the same zone as where it is on the weekly chart, right around here, the $42,000 level, the $43,000 level. We fix the graph so it actually looks a little bit more entertaining. I will say it's not often that we have fake outs to the upside on the EMA ribbon on the weekly. But the biggest problem with this is the EMA spread is very weak right here, so this could be taken with a grain of salt. But it is worth noting in my opinion. So to sum things up, we really need to see some support here, at least maybe a couple days of consolidation before moving back up to this range. You know, we could very well close down here and just have a bullish engulfing candle like this the next day. But in my opinion, the longer we trade down here, the more likely we're going to move down to this green line again at around 40K. So be on the lookout for really much below 42.6, 42.5. If we close below here and retest this 0.5 level on the Fibonacci retracement, then it could very well be game over, at least until this green line hits. But another problem with this green line is we've hit it so many times through this range right here that it might not even offer support on the way down, especially if this comes crashing down. But other than that, yeah, we really need to move above this green box if we want to see that move to 52K. This is all I have for Bitcoin today. This is not financial advice. I'll see you in the next one.